What's happening, fam? LAL movement still moving. Book entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, CreateSpace. A link will be in the description box below, as usual. This one is crime versus corruption. Um, the thing about it is, let's just get into it. So with crime, there's a reason to distrust criminals, and there's a reason to distrust law enforcement. But there's a reason to distrust the people also. So when it comes to crime, poverty is a factor to a degree. When it comes to violent crime, because poverty makes violent crime worse. But white collar crime is still crime, but it's more so of theft. It winds up turning up violent, but a lot of times you can handle those things legally before it get there. Poor crime, not so much. But the reason I'm talking about crime right now first is because people are in criminal activity or on the cusp of criminal activity or benefiting from criminal activity are sometimes the same people that want the police to step in and save them. You can't have it both ways. If you're a full-fledged criminal, you already know that. But it's the people who are on the fence and benefiting that seem to have the hardest problem with that. So if you're depending on someone who is a criminal or lives a criminal lifestyle, if you're dependent on them financially, you trying to live with the benefits of both. You want the protection of law enforcement, but you want the money involved and the finances and the lifestyle involved with being taken care of by illegal activity. I don't care if it's street level or white collar. Really don't. People are implicated. They're implicit with this. And that's the problem. You can't, on one hand, say you want to live in a safer environment or be around better quote unquote people, but that's not how your bread gets butter. It's not what you're doing, and you know that's not what you're doing, and you know that's not what you're benefiting off of. So you should be the last person to have some type of standard and morality about your safety and whatnot. The other thing is those people in some ways feel like the person that's taking all the risk is who should be held to a standard, but the person that's benefiting off the risk, somehow they have clean hands. No, you don't. You don't whatsoever. You're just as dirty, because you getting this stuff for free. You could get you can get things on your own without having to benefit off of criminal activity, but you choose not to. So you're an accomplice. You're not a helpless victim who just didn't know. You're not an innocent person. It's not true. Now, that's one of the things that make crime. And the other thing I would say about crime is, people look at it differently in America, because crime has tiers and hierarchy by race, and gender. And it's stupid to me, but people use it as a benefit. That's just the reality of it. But fast forward into corruption, that's different. Corruption is criminality under um, a uniform, or this is just a cleaned up version of it. You're all in the same business, career, but what you're doing, in some ways, when you do it, you have diplomatic immunity or just immunity. But you're just like the criminals that you talk about. You know, when you abuse your power, corruption is not because you know what I did was somebody who was corrupt might say I did something wrong, but I hold all the cards or it's legal because I know all the guidelines to do this unethical, immoral act and it still be legal. And I know, and it's just business, it's not personal. When it affects other people, and you know it will, and you know you're benefiting off of your devilish behavior. You know, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So what happens? Cor- People in corruption, for some odd reason, have this delusional morality. You know, those people over there are evil, and they need to be dealt with, and they need to be shown no mercy. But I need leniency, mercy, forgiveness, a second or third chance because I'm an upstanding person in an upstanding position. Being a criminal is different. No, it's not. At least criminals are fair enough to know that they're fair game. Corrupt people are cowards because they're always going to hide behind a system or their connections in a system. You know, and because they hide behind a system, you can't come from a person per se. You got to attack the idea. Now one of the major problems I have with corruption is because it's quote unquote America, mainstream America. You see, if a criminal robs you at gunpoint, you know, if it's a black criminal, he needs to get the death penalty. If it's a Hispanic criminal, he needs to get life. If it's a white criminal, he has mental issues. But if a financial advisor or a banker rob you of your life savings, it's maybe you should just, it's not right, but maybe he should get maybe a year, 2 years in club fed. It's not like he hurt anybody. He just robbed the persons of their life work and destroyed their family and destroyed their future, the inheritance of their family's future generations. But, you know, he bought a couple of Rolexes and a Rolls Royce with the money and went on a couple of vacations and he did it in a suit. So, you know, plus he's not, you can't really put white collar crime on blacks and Hispanics because we don't have that kind of access. It's the problem. This is why also the justice system, depending on who you ask, you don't think you're going to get justice. Some people will get justice even if it's the wrong person and they blame somebody else and they'll throw that person under the bus, and that's fine with people. because of the corruption. And then you got people that know good and well that nothing's gonna happen to certain people because whatever. I remember they had the video about the kid who was in jail, and he said, "Look, I'm a blind, blue-eyed guy. All I gotta do is cry in court, and they gonna give me less of a sentence." But he didn't know they was recording a conversation, or he forgot they record jail conversations, so that made it worse because the judge listened to it. But he knew it existed because he knew the system was corrupt in the first place. If he would have shut up and never said that on tape, he probably would have got leniency. But that's, to me, that's the difference between crime and corruption. I think it's just semantics. Yeah.